For the, you can do that. Just tell me what you want.
Because it's his school.
Not from there.
Okay.
You want it short, you've already taken it short. In school,
Yeah.
it's more-
Welcome everyone to this Milburn School District Regular Board of Education meeting, April 24th. Can we have a roll call?
Ron Coleman,
Present.
Jim Boudia.
Here.
John Lorenzen,
Here.
Brendan Murphy,
Here.
Peter Petroni,
Present.
Jillian Phelps. Here. Kathy Roberts.
Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? No.
No comment.
No comment. Does anyone have any additional non-action items? Action items. Confirm the results of the Board of Education from the consolidated general election.
Okay, so what we do is pull up the official election results. It's on the Lake County website. And we have a write-in candidate, Fred Skepstrom, with 144 votes. And we have two candidates running for 3 spots who are on the ballot. There we go. Lisa Wooster and John Ruggles, which received all the votes that were taken, so. There we go. We had 2 people running for 3 spots on the ballot, and Fred Skepstrom was a write-in candidate for that 3rd spot, so all 3 of them have gone through and are officially elected according to the Lake County website, so.
Okay.
That's all we have to do is accept those results and say yes.
Congratulations to you three. Let's approve the final reading of the board policy. Does anyone have any of these
Wait a
policies?
second, you have to make a motion to
Oh, we have to
confirm.
make a motion to confirm. Do we have a motion to confirm the election results that we just saw? So moved. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We have confirmed the results, which we could not change. Approve the final reading. Does anyone have any of these policies they want to pull out or discuss more?
I want to point out that on 510, we added language that makes it a little bit more, gives the district a little bit more flexibility on hiring. So Sean had a question about this last time, and the language is this clarification that handicap and disability does not include currently using illegal drugs, having currently contagious disease or infection, etc., or whose current alcohol use prevents them from performing the job duties or constitutes a direct threat to property safety of others. So Sean had asked this question the first time that we discussed it in 2021, I believe.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. All I was asking was, what of these new categories that we're not used to seeing
Yep,
are required by law versus allowing us discretion?
Correct.
In the event that it allows us discretion, the question is, does it make good sense to have that part of policy? Or do we simply exercise discretion? Because a lot of these things, to me, not discrimination, as would have been traditionally perceived, right? Their behaviors, they're not. And not specifically this about the usage here. But a lot of them were behaviors and were not inherent in the being. And so that was the key question then. And then last time I just pointed out where there could be conflict in the language of the policy.
Yeah.
And it was specifically talking about the use of medicinal marijuana. And, you know, it says, okay, we don't discriminate against that. That's fine. And yet below, it had policy verbiage that said we do discriminate against it. So with that conflict, there should be some clarity.
So there's, I think, are you talking about the compassionate use of
Special
medical?
use of medical cannabis.
So that has specific criteria for what that can be used for,
Right.
not recreation. That would be a
Yep, yep, but no, that's, yeah, that, it was two different uses there.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
just
we
said
clarified it
it
with our
can't be,
attorney.
it can't be used on school property, and my question was, that's one statement. Here, the other statement is, well, maybe a doctor prescribes that you need to use it at particular times of the day, whereby you may be on school property. So there was that conflict that was present.
But we did confirm with our attorney that we don't have flexibility on those other categories. This time and there. But she said also to add this language because that was optional. So there's several different things Sean was pointing out. Just wanted to clarify that. And where there is she doesn't think there's discrepancy with the marijuana piece because it's got to be doctor's orders and there has to be rules about it, but the way this is written could be funky. But the law supersedes board policy no matter what happens, so we're covered as far as it goes.
Good on
Do you want to have that as part of the policy?
What's that?
That the law supersedes.
It's part of all policies, it's the law,
All right, so you don't have to have that specific.
that's all of them.
Okay. All right.
All right, we have a motion to approve the final reading of the board policy as shown.
I move to approve the final board policies as shown.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
In the judgment of president, ayes have it. Roll. And the board motion is passed. Approve the intergovernmental agreement for the sharing of student records and information between Milburn School District and Grays Lake Community High School.
So these are intergovernmental agreements. The law states that if we can share information with the high schools, if students are going up into the high school from Milburn, we have the right to share that information with them. The high schools have the right to ask us for it because they have a educational purpose for that information. We can't give them. There's limits on what information we can provide, but generally speaking, we give grades, we give test scores, we give Kim folders. All of that is shared with the high school already. But the high schools, I think something happened somewhere, and now they're asking for intergovernmental agreements to further codify that. So they feel more comfortable about it. It's something that we already do, and okay, we signed one with Warren last year, and now Grace Lake is asking. So.
So it's just essentially backtracking to put in paper what was previously just understood.
Correct. part of the law. We're not doing anything illegal, that's just what we've always done.
We don't have to renew these.
I don't believe so. Any questions about that?
Does this include discipline? Like
There's
the
certain-
student's entire record?
There's certain disciplinary that we cannot, and certain disciplinary that we must.
Okay.
I believe expulsions must.
Yeah.
Suspensions cannot
Okay.
follow it.
Is that written out in the agreement?
That's in our disciplinary policy. I don't,
So it's not.
I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement for the sharing of student records and information between Milburn and Grace Lake High School on 27.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The bus lease for wheelchair bus in the amount of $16,500 for the 4 years.
So, so if you recall, last fall, we were looking for a wheelchair bus. We have 2 wheelchair buses currently. We own one, we lease one. So with the lease that we approved, we will have a wheelchair bus, but for the wheelchair bus that we own, it's high mileage, it's old, and it has a constant need for repairs. So within the last 12 months, we've spent over $8,800 in repairs, simply because we need this wheelchair bus. But they're very hard to come by. So even when Dr. Johns was here last spring, he was looking for a wheelchair bus. So Midwest Transit found, they have a used bus, a 2019, it's low mileage, just over 15,000 miles. For a 4-year lease option, the cost is $16,500 per year. With the engine and chassis warranty and the maintenance fee package, I'll go into that in just a little bit, it would be $20,510 a year. And I don't know if you recall, but with that maintenance fee package or the maintenance package, in order to get the maintenance package for Midwest to come up and do the repairs on site, we would have to sign on with the engine and the chassis warranty. So it was all together. So, Dr. Lind and I are recommending going with the 4-year lease option, with the 4-year engine, 4-year chassis warranties, and the 4-year maintenance package, so that Midwest can come up and do the repair, maintenance, and checks like they're doing with all the other buses that we have. And I believe in your board packet, there should have been a copy of the quote provided with the 1, 2, and 4 option. From before?
I thought we looked at that a previous meeting, didn't we?
No, it was like, it should have been emailed out.
Oh, it was sent out.
Yeah,
Wrong.
so, a really good comparison of just cost, the 2-year lease option is almost $26,000 per year, whereas the 4-year going down to 16,500. So, the cost of 3 years of the lease is the same as the cost of 2 years of a lease, if that makes sense. And the other thing, because this is a new lease, we would be able to apply depreciation with the state reimbursement for this as well.
Okay, so it's 16,500 for the 4 years, and then what for the maintenance?
For the entire, for the 4-year lease and the maintenance and warranties, it's $20,510 per year. So $4,010 for the 2 warranties and the maintenance.
We leased the previous one. Or we bought the previous one.
We actually own the previous
We
one.
own
And it was for almost $9,000 last year to repair. just over 8,800, and it actually was in the, workshop last week. So the other thing is too, it does, every year it goes up incrementally, and it's not reliable, and so we need it, we do have students that utilize both the wheelchair buses.
Okay, I'm sorry, I guess. I guess it's not, it was being clear to me. It's $16,500 for 4 years. Is that, are you saying it's 16,500 per year?
Per year, yes.
Per year, and that's without the extra.
I would just suggest
Warranty.
that be called out a little bit
We
better.
haven't made the motion, so we can adjust it a little bit yet.
I apologize, I thought that this form was also sent out to you Friday,
Well,
information.
regardless, it's part of it.
Yeah. We were sent out.
Okay, so what it ends up being, what we're voting on is $20,000 per year for 4 years or $80,000. Roughly,
Right,
okay. All right, I'm just saying that that's a little bit different than when I'm looking at $16,500 for 4 years.
Yeah, I can work on the wording for that in the future for sure.
Okay.
And sometimes you write it out, it makes sense to me, because I know what I mean.
Okay.
You wanna make the motion, Jim?
Yeah.
It's inclusive of the maintenance.
Sure. Make a motion to approve the bus lease for the wheelchair bus in the amount of $16,500 per year for 4 years, with what, roughly $4,000?
$4,010 for an engine warranty, chassis warranty, and maintenance package.
Okay, for the maintenance package, $4,010 per year, for a total of roughly $80,000 for 4 years.
Any further questions?
Second. You making the motion?
Made the motion.
I was able to spit it out.
Anyone have any more questions? If not, we can have a roll call.
Brendan Murphy,
Yes.
Peter Petroni,
Yes.
Jillian Phelps,
Yes.
Jesse Roberts. Yes. Tom Coleman,
Yes.
Jim Fusia,
Yes.
John Lorenzen,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, summer help positions.
Okay, so, every year we like to hope to hire, summer help, mainly for buildings and grounds work. That's our busiest time of year for getting, buildings and grounds work completed, when the students and staff are out of the building. Dr. Lind and I are recommending that the district hire help for the summer of 2023. Prior to the pandemic, we would try to hire up to 6, summer custodial staff and occasionally 1 or 2 staff to help with, the technology department. We're looking to do that again as well. I don't know if we'll be successful, given that, basically our hourly rate is not very competitive with some labor jobs that are out there right now. The starting custodial rate for a current Milburn staff would be $15.22 per hour. And if a current staff member was to be hired into the technology department to do temporary summer work, their hourly rate would be $18.67. New hires coming on to work would be paid $13 per hour plus an additional 25 cents per hour for each additional year of summer employment. So that means if they worked for us last summer, they would get $13.25. And I also you may have noticed, and I want to point out that later in the consent agenda, we have one of our elementary custodians retiring. We will look to replace her, but if we're not able to replace her, just even more of a reason that we'll need summer help for the building and grounds department this summer.
We budgeted for six.
We have a motion on approval for the summer help position.
Six FTE.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Peter Peterini,
Yes.
Julian Faust. Yes. Kathy Roberts. Yes. Sean Coleman,
Yes.
Jim Guzia,
Yes.
John Lorenzen,
Yes.
Brendan Murphy.
Yeah.
Motion passed.
Approve the contract with Consolidated Flooring for flooring replacement at Milburn School.
Okay. So, Jason, could you open the business office report and scroll down to each three, please? So as you might recall, in the fall, the past couple of years, the districts applied for the school maintenance project grant. So essentially, this is a dollar for dollar matching grant that the state provides $50,000 to school districts solely for working on large scale operations and maintenance projects. This past fall, the board approved to move forward with the grant specifically to replace flooring at Milburn Elementary. So what we do is we ask for approval for the grant, we submit our application for the grant, we get the grant back, and then once we are approved for the grant, we work with vendors to get quotes. So we ended up working with Consolidated Flooring Cat Craft. So they're a cooperative purchasing organization through Sourcewell. And they came in and gave us quotes for the different flooring areas that we talked about in the fall. And the quote that was agreed to, I believe it was in February, was to move forward with the cafeteria. So if you scroll down just a little bit. I put in a couple pictures. The two pictures on the left are the tiles in the cafeteria. As you can see, they're starting to crumble throughout the cafeteria, which is why we wanted to replace them. But with this quote, it didn't come back at $100,000. So the grants, $50,000 matching grant, which means we have to spend at least $100,000 to get the full $50,000 from the state. So I went back to Consolidated Flooring and we looked at some additional areas that will bump us a little over that $100,000 mark. And we came up with the front office carpeting. So this too is a really high traffic area. As you can see, the carpet's very worn and stained, but we also have two sets of carpeting going on here. The gray carpeting, I believe, is 24 years old. The blue carpeting is 14 years old. What we have in the front main office are 5 offices for the principal, assistant principal, superintendent, and 2 secretarial staffs, as well as the receptionist and the registrar, and our mailroom. So it's used by all staff pretty much daily. We have parent meetings in that location. For IEP and 504 meetings, there's a conference room. So what Consolidated Flooring was able to do was give us a quote, which was provided, I believe, on Friday as well, electronically. They basically, with the cafeteria, putting new carpeting in the front office, and there's a small workroom off of the media center office here that the flooring had the old tile right off the foyer that didn't get replaced last summer. It was just missed on our part. Consolidated Flooring came back with a quote of $110,228. So they're also giving us in there, that includes a $10,900 discount for being a customer of theirs, a recurring customer of theirs. So what Dr. Lind and I are proposing or asking the board to approve is the remainder of the contract, since you've already approved the $93,000 for the cafeteria. So approve the contract with Consolidated Flooring for flooring replacement at the Milburn Elementary School in the amount of $16,959.48. So that's the remainder of the contract that they provided.
Is there any flooring left that has to be replaced? I mean, like immediate.
I'd say yeah, that cafeteria is,
No, but outside of,
Yeah.
you're talking any additional.
Yeah, besides this stuff, we're in pretty good shape, I guess. I feel like we've been
Yeah,
talking
after the
flooring for a
cafeteria.
while.
in good shape.
And there's no asbestos flood.
There is asbestos left and just that bridge area. Right, if you were to walk in through the front door and take an immediate right. The steps go up, so there are 3 or 4, is it 4 classrooms and a small hallway.
It's 3 classrooms in the original library, so it's a bigger classroom and an office. The office has been done,
The office is redone.
Yeah.
So
so it's the bigger classroom and the 3 classrooms on the other side.
and a hallway, but those tiles are in fantastic shape. They're not crumbling. They're all intact.
Just on the
And that would have cost you like 300,000 or something.
It would have cost
Not
a
quite
lot,
that much, but
yeah.
it's significantly
Right.
higher.
That's when I gotta move the stuff upstairs and all that. We
Right,
talked about
there was
that.
the extra fee to get their machinery up the stairs, and when we approved this, or when the board approved going forward with this, maintenance grant in the fall, we did not know about the tax abatement, but if you recall, we had a, starting fund balance at the beginning of this fiscal year, and the capital projects fund just over $360,000. We like to keep $200,000 in that fund for emergencies. And I recall a question asking, well, how much would you spend? Would you be comfortable spending for an overall flooring project? And my answer then was 140, maybe 150. So this keeps us at 110. If something pops up, there's money there. I know, Jim, you mentioned that when we were in the cafeteria. Something could pop up in any one of the flooring projects we do, but this gives us that wiggle room to stay under that 140.
In addition, if the state comes out next year with another $50,000 grant, we want to have that money available to continue to use that grant or any other grants that come along.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on this?
Move to approve the contract with Consolidated Flooring replacement at Milburn Elementary School in the amount of $16,959.48.
Second. We have no more questions, so roll call, please.
Jillian Phelps. Yes. Nancy Roberts. Yes. Ron Coleman.
Yes.
Jim Lucia.
Yes.
John Lorenzen.
Yes.
Brendan Murphy.
Yes.
Peter Petrini.
Yes,
Motion passed.
All right, bill approval and payment authorization for school board expenses. Do we have a motion on that?
I don't know who ate this breakfast.
Was, oh, was.
It was.
Do you have questions on it?
No.
Not very good.
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it? You bought $8 for a breakfast?
No question. Okay, do we have a motion to approve it?
I move to approve the bill approval and payment off for school board expenses.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cassie Roberts. Yes. Ron Coleman.
Yes.
Jim Lucia.
Yes.
John Lorenzen.
Yes.
Brendan Murphy.
Yes.
Peter Petrini.
Yes,
And Jillian Phelps. Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passed.
Consent agenda, does anyone have anything they'd like to pull out? Now, can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as reported.
Second. If there's no questions, roll call please.
John Coleman,
Yes.
Tim Buzia,
Yes.
John Lorenzen,
Yes.
Brendan Murphy,
Yes.
Peter Cacherini,
Yes.
Julia Tuck. Yes. And Cassie Roberts. Okay. Motion passed.
Thank you, board. As part of that consent agenda, we hired an assistant principal at the middle school, Courtney Stacy, who's here tonight, and Jake, can you introduce Courtney?
Yes, Cody and Stacy here in the front row, school board members. Break the ice there. You've been approved, so you're quickly hired. Just so everybody knows, Courtney went, sat through 3 interviews with us, different groups of people each time. She has a great experience in District 126, Zion Benton Township since 2014. She worked as an English teacher, literacy interventionist and coach, and most recently as a dean of students. She has a great deal of experience in leadership and references shared very positive reports on her. And we're excited to have her here at that.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Welcome. Information and discussion, health insurance. How bad is this gonna be?
Well, we jump back to, the business office. report
Yes.
really quick. So, joining us today actually is, Catherine Loney. So she is the vice president of benefits and consulting for Alera Group. So that oversees our cooperative 90s, benefits plan. So, what I was hoping she could do, I knew that some of our all of our new board members would be here today. Just give a brief overview, a little bit of a history about cooperative 90s, what it is and the benefits of it, just so that everyone has an understanding of what a cooperative is.
Take it away, Kat.
Thanks for allowing me some time to come out and just refresh for those that have heard it before. But Cooperative 90s was formed together as a pool for health insurance. And so it's schools and libraries that have come together. Millburn makes up about 27% of the population of this cooperative. Oftentimes we think of cooperatives as more of standalone, but coming together for fixed costs. But when this was originated when was it started? What do you think?
In the
In
90s.
the 1990s, was when it first came and they formed together to be a cooperative. That's when Millburn was smaller. So it was made up of smaller schools and libraries coming together for health insurance as a true pool. So what happens is we look as a group at large and we don't assess any of the entities when we have bad years. And one of the great people who sat on the board for a period of time was Jason, and he always said we should have a 2 to 5% increase, whether we needed it or not. So we wouldn't sustain or have to experience those double-digit rate increases that we are having this year at a 15% rate increase. So I was telling Jason earlier tonight, we miss him on the board, but we're gonna make sure that Carly is that voice, that voice when we want to. So, in that instance, we continue to be a strong tool, and we come together so that we're sharing all the risks, both good and bad. And some of the years when we've had some double-digit rate increases, I was looking back over. Millburn was running about, you watch each entity, but you were running at 98% of claims, and we wanted to be at 80, 92%, 92%. And so that's the benefit of being a part of a pool. It's because we were able to dream those couple of years to have a 2% rate increase. But this year, we have many claims going back on the books after our COVID months, and we are experiencing that 15% rate. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them or attempt to answer them. I've not been there since the 1990s, but I have been managing it since 1995, so the majority of the time. Any questions? Otherwise, thank you for allowing me to work with your staff here on your benefit.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thanks.
So we appreciate the stability that Catherine has had throughout, my tenure here and Steve's and Carly's and before that, and the expertise that she brings. And it was educational for me to sit on the board for the few years until they kicked me off because I kept saying Grace, right? I think that elbowed me out and I said, hey, maybe just Dr. John should be on. I don't know if that was the reason. But, certainly what we're trying to accomplish is, as a school district, and that when we try to budget, every business would love this. It's impossible, but you try to have a nice, smooth expenditure line. You don't want to see big ups and downs because it's hard to make plans in those years. So the idea was to smooth that out over time, and we've made some efforts to do that, but it is almost impossible to do that, especially in the health insurance industry, and especially when you're a smaller group in a co-op. There's years where it only takes a few lives. We're bigger now, but a few lives could really make a big difference. Kids were sick, so, or teachers were sick. But that's the idea of the insurance. We've been pleased with the people that we worked with throughout that time.
Thank you.
Could you scroll down just a smidge? Down to the 2024 benefits insurance rates. So as Catherine mentioned, the 15% increase, that's only specific to the Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO plan. The HMO plan will see a 9.5% increase. Delta Dental HMO will have no increase. The dental PPO a 3.2% increase. Vision, no increase. And similarly for life insurance and disability, there's no increase in cost for those benefits.
Okay. Thanks, Carly. Thanks, Kat.
Future agenda items. Does anyone have anything you would like to add? The next meeting. Superintendent's report.
Okay. I wanted to point out, on our website, Jim had mentioned at one point, how do we reach communication? There's a communication link on the front page of our website now, so sign up if you want to get communications. Spread the word. All right, perfect. You won't get the weekly newsletters from the principals. I think that might drive people nuts, but if there's bigger districts.
Oh, I love hearing.
Oh, if you want to, we'll put you on that list too.
That's so nice.
The other addition to the website is, John had a question last time about our, access, the public access to the curriculum, if you wanted to, what do you call it? If you had a question about the curriculum, there's a form on our website now, it's under the curriculum tab. If somebody's looking at curriculum, it's right there. And it's right on the curriculum page. So we added that as part of our administrative. It is part of our administrative procedures now. It's on the website for people to access.
Is there any way to make it a little bit more profound? It actually took a while.
2 clicks.
You just gotta read the whole page.
Oh,
Get out.
I don't know.
Okay.
6th and 7th grade had their plays, the drama class had their plays last Thursday and Friday. They did a great job. Been fun to see the progression over the years of our theater program that's emerged. We didn't have that before. Now we have, because we have a class that meets year round. Kids are really getting good at that craft, and it's really fun to watch. Both the kids on the stage crew, and audio visual. It's great. May 4th, staff appreciation event. For our staff, all aboard are welcome to attend that. It starts at 3:30. May 24th. May 4th. Star Wars Day. Right?
Is the drama, is that a drama club?
This
That's
is the
only in
class, so we-
sixth or seventh, or is it
So there's a
six,
sixth
seven,
grade,
eight?
there's a sixth grade, they meet during a, what's? They meet during the enrichment periods in the middle of the day. So it's a drama class that kids
Okay.
can sign up for as an optional. So there's a sixth grade class, a seventh grade class, and an eighth grade class.
Great.
Sixth and seventh grade went on the same night, they're about 30-minute plays. And they're fun, the kids did a great job. Eighth grade's coming up. I can't tell you the date, but I know I have to be there. So I have an eighth grade.
That sounds great.
Graduation is on June 5th, is what I'm hearing. What time, Mr. Ferguson?
Estimate 5:30.
5:30, June 5th, 5:30-ish. But we'll have time to confirm that time. The board is welcome to attend on that date as well.
Outdoors.
Outdoors, outside of middle school,
Green day is Tuesdays.
Tuesday the 6th. Okay. That's all I got.
I'm done as well.
Oh, you
Covered all of my-
covered it all. Right? All right.
No? Do we have any, board reports?
I went to 2 activities, since our previous meeting. The first one, I toured the middle school. I had a wonderful time. It was a great tour, so thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. I did see Mrs. Berg, and I conveyed to her my appreciation for her work, and I know I'm not allowed to, but I tried to, I don't think anyone here is gonna disagree with me that we all appreciate everything she did when she needed to step up and help us out. So thanks to the union for that, and she was very wonderful. It was a wonderful. The other activity that I went was the Parents Unit U class. It was wonderful. I think we got a lot done. I think we heard a lot of good feedback that we can apply. And I appreciate us being allowed to let it run a little bit longer this time so we could kind of finish those thoughts. But it's really well done.
I will have follow-ups.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Now we don't have a closed session. So. We have some
No, you gotta finish it first.
adjourn.
No plaques until,
No, and they're not done until they're done. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned
for the initial.
or not?
now. So, the official term is signed die on the agenda. That just means that this particular board is now complete and over, finished. And, we will see the new board tonight. But before we let you guys go, we have some plaques for you in appreciation of your service. I appreciate all of you serving on the board, volunteering. Your time, Cassie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, and Jim, thank you for your time again. Jim already had. You got one. You get one for life. No, I appreciate you three serving on the board and getting to know you better in a different way, and I hope the community understands and appreciates your service as well, because it's not nothing. It's a lot of time and effort, and sometimes it takes a little flack for decisions that have to be made, and it's not an easy role at times. So I appreciate it and your contribution. Each of you have contributed in different ways at different times, and I appreciate that. You're willing to do that. Thank you.
You guys can take your name tags and run.
Take your name tags with you, not the whole.
Just the name tag.
Yeah, you don't have to go. If you leave the name tags, I can't guarantee what might appear. Yeah, you didn't take it the first time?
You want me to something bad could happen. I'll take it well. Save it for next time.
Yeah. So, take your, you want to be your iPad or you like that right here?
Yeah, you too.
It's yours.
Yeah, that's John. No. No, I don't have any.
Thanks, Cassie.
Thanks, guys.
You can take a seat.
You get to choose a seat before she puts the
Take a
name
seat.
tag down.
Good to see you, nice to see you.
Had to go feed the meter. Lisa, you can-
Come on. It's time. Yeah. Now you're in the circle.
Okay, on the second page, the first page you have to fill out, I believe it's part of the. Yes, you have to sign that you read the first page and then return it to us as part of your board training. And the second page is the oath of office that you'll all read together, so.
We're just giving it back to the.
Okay, if the new members could stand, if the new members could stand and we'll read the oath of office together. Always let you read it. So when you say, I, Lisa Brewster, I read it simultaneously together. Don't mind otherwise, I just follow through.
I think that's a very good idea that we do it together.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Got that?
That's long.
Also
right.
very-
Whenever you're ready.
I, Fred Skepstrom, do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully discharge
The duties of the office of member of Board of Education
of
Milford District 24.
Consolidated School District 24.
in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
And the laws of the state of Illinois, to the best of my ability. I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district asset. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual, and that a decision can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to see changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district. I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Milburn Community Consolidated School District 24.
I shall serve in a teaching structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain the maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievements and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law. I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students in our community school to advance the vision for
Milburn School District
24. And I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district for fulfilling the vision of the board as created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
There will be a test.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a full board completely seated. Yay. Now, the next order of business is to appoint a president pro tem. It's a temporary position for the reorganization of the board.
Anybody wants to go? You can have it. I'll run it, if you don't mind. Welcome, call to order, roll call, please.
John Lorenzen,
Here.
Brendan Murphy,
Here.
Peter Petronini,
Present.
Jillian Bell. Here. John Ruggles.
Here.
Fred Strom.
Present.
Lisa Niederger. Here.
We have nominations for president.
I nominate Brendan Murphy for president.
I nominate John Williamson for president. Second.
Any other nominations? Okay. Would you like to have a open ballot? There is no, real rules, so, we have John and myself nominated. So go ahead and write down your vote. Pass it around.
No campaign.
No campaign. If you want a campaign? You want to read them?
One vote for John Lorenzen. One vote for John. That's, we now have up to 3 for John. Brendan Murphy, 1 vote. Another vote for Brendan Murphy, 2 to 3. John Lorenzen, you have 4. And Brendan, you have 3. John Lorenzen, you have 4 votes.
And we'll be our next president.
All right, congratulations.
Do we have any nominations for secretary?
I nominate Jillian.
I second.
I think you'd be very good at that.
No? Any other nominations? Okay. If there's no other nominations, then Jillian, you are president.
That was fast.
You're done.
One day, but not now.
Do we have nominations for vice president?
I nominate Peter Petronini.
Second.
I nominate myself for vice president.
No second one. Do we have any other nominations? Okay.
Will the president read them?
No, it's not president, yeah, go.
Right, we have one for Fred Epstein. That's two for Fred. One for Peter Federini. That's another one for Peter. Peter, you're now have three. Peter, you have another vote, that's four. And Peter, you have 5 votes, and you're the vice president.
Congratulations, Pete.
Woo, I'll stay right here.
Do we have anyone who'd like to volunteer to be the IASB governing board representative?
I would do it.
Any other volunteers? Okay. Lisa, congratulations, you are now our IASB representative. Do we have any volunteers for CEDAW representative?
Nobody likes CEDAW.
Volunteer for the Senate representative.
Extra jobs.
Next meeting is Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m.
Is that at the CEDAW building on, that Washington?
Gauges like,
Oh, yeah.
yep. Close. Close to Gauges Lake and Almond. You'll get more information.
Reappointment of Rachel as the board secretary, unless there's any objections. Congratulations, you get to suffer with us for one more. School board meeting dates, you have them in front of you. Please let us know if there's any conflicts that you know of.
We need to talk about some dates. So on the committee of the whole, on Monday, July 10th, we need to have if we have one meeting a month, it's gonna be a regular meeting. It's not gonna be a committee of the whole because we have to have voting, move the agenda forward. So, and we would prefer to have it later in the month typically if we have one meeting, just for billing purposes. Otherwise, the gap gets too big between that meeting and the next month, and vendors are waiting for their payments. So, my suggestion is on that Monday, July 10th, if we can, if you are all available, do the IASB training with the IASB representative, and that's all we would do that night. There would be no board business. It's a board training called Starting Right. And that's where we don't get too far into vision or talking about strategy for the next year. There's a little bit of that, but it's more about how are we going to work together? What's your expectations for me? What's your expectations for each other, and vice versa? So that would be on July 10th if everybody. So she's holding the spot for us. Does everybody? I know Lisa, you responded to me. You can make it. Jill can make it. Fred can make it. Don't know yet? Okay, that's fine. Just let me know as soon as you can. I'll be there. John and Peter and Brendan, are you good for July 10th? Okay, so John, if you can just check, it's okay. Just want to get that done. I'll bug you this week. So.
Is that at night too? Or is
Yes.
that like during the day? Okay.
Yeah, it's at night. So it goes from 6 till 8:30ish. And we'll serve dinner at 5:30. Just so we can eat before we start. chatting, so they'll just have, dinner ready, won't be anything fancy. Sandwich or something. Yes, you'll get here at 5:45. But if you wanna get here, eat slowly. Yeah. If just the board, it's closed session, it's not open to the public. And that's all we do. Good. Good way to get to know each other a little bit better too. So. July, what,
Well, I was gonna go on to other meeting dates. I thought.
yeah, so then we have to have a regular meeting in July, so we could either do the 17th or the 24th.
Out for the 17th, so.
24th.
I'm good for either one.
Yeah, I think I'm good for you. I think I'm good for either one.
Lisa, I think you got that. That was.
I'm going, I think the 24th is fine. I think either is fine. There's something, I'll text real quick.
And if you have to miss a meeting, that's
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
clear.
I will,
They will be withheld.
that week. I will not be in the state of Illinois. that week, So that's why I said the 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, if that works, I'll just get the notes and stuff.
17th. We'll put it as the 17th. We haven't voted on this yet. This will be voted on in May. At the second meeting in May, so we have a lot of time yet to think about, but I want to get some. So you guys can plan. 17. And then in October, we have 2 dates listed for the committee of the whole, either October 2nd or October 16th. October 16th is Indigenous Peoples' Day, Columbus Day. Monday, so it's a holiday. I have a conference. I can come back that night, but I'd rather not. So I'd rather do October 2nd if that's okay with the board, but can make it work if that doesn't work. for everybody else.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that works.
I prefer the second.
Yeah, the second.
16th is my son's birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he has the day off this year.
He might be.
All right, so we'll do the 2nd
I'll still be in town for the 24th.
of July.
So either 17th or 24th is fine.
Thanks. And then look through this, if there's gonna be conflicts, things happen, business trips and such, we understand that, but, I appreciate when everybody's here. I think there's a reason why there's 7 people, we miss them, someone's not here, so as much as possible. we Encourage. attendance.
No, I'm gonna miss one.
This last board. been really good.
I know I'm gonna miss one.
No, yes, it's work, it happens, yes.
When is the first day of school next year?
August 24th. Is a Wednesday, 23rd. then. First full, so it'd be a half day on the 23rd, yeah. Full day on the 24th.
I'll be coming back in town from Oklahoma on September 11th, with the way travel goes. Don't know if I'll be able to make it.
Okay.
Move that back to the 18th, or I'm the only one who can't be there.
We'll leave it for now. And then just remind me when it gets closer. If we can't get quorum, we'll change it.
We didn't have many issues with that.
No, this last board has been very good. Other boards, have struggled a little bit more with, that. Right, sir.
That's it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
This is done. John and Peter, you guys are in charge. All you.
Can we still ask you questions and all?